Do you have any idea what you're doing?
Yeah. Saving children.
We have to destroy it.
Are you crazy? That's my life's work.
A witch hunt machine?
Jesus, Whit. You were being so naive. This isn't some fairy tale. This is about saving people here in the real world.
Lock up when you leave. Just a dream. Nothing more.
Okay, guys, ready?
Ready.
Ready. Ready.
Stage 1. Gain interior access without causing alarm.
What are you doing?
Elves get a 20% bonus when hiding.
Behind a lamp?
Elves are skinny bastards.
Okay, my turn.
These guys have had 15 years to solve this without players. They failed.
Do you guys remember the story of the gamers that disappeared from their table 15 years ago?
Urban legend that's as fake as the Steam Tunnel Scare.
Actually, this one's all true. And you're holding their original character sheets right now.
Rogar, former barbarian scourge of West Haven, now a convicted
felon twice over and a homeless alcoholic with an anger problem. What the hell, Megan?
I have an idea. But it's going to take all of us working together. The main controls for the university's surveillance system are housed in the server room.
Where's my feed, Magellan?
Magellan will hack into the system, which should give us access to the campus security.
Why can't I just use another spell?
Hacking, magic, just do your thing. Why'd you steal his pants?
Which games do you remember forever? The ones where your character wins some imaginary gold? Or the ones where they grew into something greater than the stats on a character sheet?
No, don't care. This warrior is better off living drunk in the city park than being controlled by the mere gamer.
You are the gamers.
Do not interfere. A bard's duty is to observe and record, to preserve history in song for the enlightenment and edification of future generations. We allow events to unfold naturally, organically, and do nothing to influence their outcome. Where are your pants?
A mystery.
Who else disputes my rule? Now, I'll civilize you yet.
No! Everywhere. No, I got rid of you.
The Glorian will come and save us.
Die!
And they're wearing gray.
Yeah. We coordinate without thinking about it.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. It's my favorite Wednesday of the week. Void Jumpers, here to stay. We're going to be playing Monster of the Week. This is an actual play live stream tabletop RPG. That is the longest name I could come up with for this. We're using a book called Monster of the Week by Michael Sands. Super cool, super character and narrative friendly. And we use it to make all of our own rules and do all kinds of crazy shit. Definitely check it out. I'm really happy to be playing Void Jumpers today. Let's welcome everybody else in.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, you fools?
Just feeling foolish.
Yes.
I like the chalice that's behind you, Trin.
Well, thank you. It is a planter.
For whose blood?
Probably the youth.
The youths? Man, I thought you were going to say enemies, not like the future or hope for tomorrow. But yeah, you know, it's your chalice of blood.
Listen, I saw a TikTok this week that was making fun of millennials for side parting their hair, and you know, I'm feeling a little vengeful.
Wait, what?
Wait, we can't side part. Is it cool or not cool to side part your hair?
It's not cool.
Why?
I've been doing that since the beginning of time. Whatever.
It's church. Cool. It's the church clothes look. It's the like take me seriously look. I'm going to the school dance look. How are we supposed to communicate that?
I don't have a symmetrical face, so I can't rock the middle part look.
Yeah, you're supposed to do the middle parts now. That's what's cool. As you can tell by how cool this looks on me right now.
There is no way in hell that those little idiots know anything.
Little idiots.
Also, if we have anyone of that generation with us right now, we don't really.
You can go fuck yourself.
I also don't even have hair, but I really want to weigh in on this anyway. Nor will I ever have hair again. But if I wear a wig, you can bet your ass it'll be side parted anytime I go to a church.
Please wear a side parted wig at one point during our show.
Yeah, can we start taking donations for Jesse's wig?
Yeah.
Please do. Put it in the fucking chat rewards. I want wigs. You know, what's the point of going bald if you can't wear cool wigs?
Right.
Hats,
right.
Also, it's a little short-sighted, guys, to assume that you can't make enemies with young people as well. You can't just reserve, you know, a chalice of blood for old enemies. You know, like the famous song, make new enemies but keep the old. You know.
Here, let's be clear. Trin did not specify that was just for young enemies. She just said the youth, capital T.
Young people in general. No, I was trying to get them to be included. It seemed like they were, what is the word? They were not being considered. Their blood was not being considered for sacrifice. And I feel like, they've got all that, TikTok energy, and that's got to be, channeled into our Trin's necromantic rituals.
Yes.
That's the only way we'll stay young.
You guys don't know this, but Jesse actually based Slakta on me.
Oh, you know the word that I was trying to think of the entire time we did like 9 episodes on the Blight Planet? Lich.
Lugubrious.
Lich?
Oh.
What'd you say?
Lich, not lugubrious. I would have been able. That's right on the tip of my tongue constantly. No, lich. I just kept trying to think of the word lich. Slakta was a lich, but I was.
Are you trying to say lich?
Ancient necromancer, evil ghost lady, a lich.
Lychee. Lychee is the fruit that you're thinking of.
Oh, that's delicious. I love that stuff.
It is really good.
Okay, we gotta stop.
Who on chat is smart? I plugged some shit into my hub. Now it's singing. It just started going it feels like it's trying to do an impersonation of a race car. It's just going. Is it just broken now? What does this mean?
Somebody answer him. One of the millennials we've been mocking.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
we're millennials? One of the youths.
No, we're millennials.
That's what I mean. One of the youths.
I've ridiculed the youths. The youths will never give me the right answer. I'm gonna try plugging it in somewhere else. Do you guys feel old? I feel like we're online using a
multi-social media platform to broadcast us playing games.
No,
I think that
but we're not doing it on whatever the new thing is. Twitch has been around for like 10 years. We just got here. You know?
Hey man, I mean, I think that here's the difference. I think the second that people refuse to learn anything new, the second they refuse to engage, and they're fully calcified in their behavior pattern, and they hate everything that's new, I think then you really qualify as old. Then you get that crotchety old vibe to you. But
so I was old 7 years ago.
There you go.
All right, we got to stop, okay? We're going to play some games. Trin, you doing Democracy Corner?
Yes, I do have something for our folks this week.
Let's kick it over to Trin for some real shit.
All right. So, the bummer part of the show where we talk about some things that are bad in the world. And one of the things that's bad in the world right now is that since COVID has become a thing, there has been a marked increase in harassment and physical assault of Asian Americans. And that's something I'm not cool with. I know you all aren't cool with, and I think we should do something about it. There is a great organization called Hollaback that teaches people how to be better bystanders. So not just so if you see someone being harassed because of their gender, their sexual orientation, their race, their ethnicity, their religion, they do a lot of seminars that can teach you how to be an effective person who intervenes in those kinds of situations. And they can also help you figure out, it's not, that doesn't mean that if you are in one of those situations. I can hear Connor. I don't know if
I'm so sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
So this organization, because of the market increase in those specific types of hate crimes pretty recently, they are doing a number of free workshops that you can take online. And I highly recommend them because they're also going to talk about how to respond to hatred and harassment that you see on the internet, which I know is something that a lot of us are spending a lot more time on these days. So I highly recommend this organization. I've taken workshops from them before, and I'm going to be taking the one in February. So if you want to be in the same Zoom room with me, you should sign up for that one as well. But they are doing a number of free workshops, and I'm about to drop the link in the chat. So please go check them out. Now, am I correct that whatever goes in chat, people don't see it later when they watch our little show?
No, you
He's
can
nodding.
Okay.
Oh.
So I will also put it in the Discord because it's a little long to say out loud. So, and I'll also tweet about it. So if you're watching this later and you would like to know the organization that I'm talking about and where you can go sign up for their free seminar session, please check our Twitter, our Discord, my telepathic thoughts, any of those things. All right.
Cool.
We've also purchased a Void Jumpers Zune, and so we're going to say the oh shit. I can't make this joke because now I'm hearing. I do feel old.
Swing for the fences anyways.
Yeah.
No, this is a trap.
I want to know Boy Jumper Zune? What's a
Like
Zune?
the MP3 player that nobody uses?
I think that's what he's.
Help me. I don't know where.
This is what you get for.
Wow. Wow.
That's what you get, you fucker.
Awesome.
Okay. We gotta stop doing all this stuff.
I think we're all stalling because we remember how terrified we were at the end of the last session. I am genuinely scared for what's going to happen next.
I'm excited. Okay.
I'm just trying to pick up hot dates in the Twitch.
Okay. All right. Let's just Mark, just do the bumper thing and we'll start over. Oh boy,
Oh boy.
My head feels hot from laughing. Okay.
It's that wig you're wearing.
Okay. All right, you guys are on the
Oh,
void.
the bumper's so short, we're already back.
All right, where we left off, this arc is on the Void Planet, okay? You're doing private eye stuff on the Void World, which is a huge city and feels very noir-ish. The last thing that happened, sort of, because we're going to actually jump right into the final beat of the last episode, so I'm going to take us back just a second, is after some running around and some investigating, Sam returned to his office to find his assistant unconscious and Fittich, the person you've been trying to find, dead on the floor. Fittich had been, it seemed like his insides, including the bones, had been liquefied. And
oh my God, really? Oh my God.
And there was evidence of some potential rifts or portals which had burnt the ground and walls.
No, oh my God.
So we left Sam there in the office talking to his assistant Jenny about what might have happened while he was away. We're now going to jump into where we really left off. The rest of you, Rex, Tag, Bryn, you're running through the courtyard of the Quiet Arms apartment, having just slid down a hedge conjured by Bryn after the three of you fell off the balcony of Fittich's downstairs neighbor's apartment. You're chasing after Poirot, one of Sam's rivals and fellow Private Eye. Fittich's apartment had been ransacked before you arrived. You found the box that was supposed to contain the OSI device, but it was empty. You also found a cigarette butt with Miss Kale's brand on the wrapper. You're not sure how Poirot was involved in all this, but he was hanging off the balcony railing when you got there, so you want to ask him a few questions. Just as Poirot rounds a corner, two red orbs appear in the air directly in your path. You come to a stop, watching as the orbs carve a red doorway into existence. There is someone standing in the portal. They extend a hand and say, "Where is the manual?"
I've got it right here.
Hand it over now.
Well, I'm not going to just hand it into a portal. That would void all transactional refunds that I could get from them. You have to come out.
The figure steps out of the portal, and it seals closed behind them. These portals are bright red. They seem to be made of this very intense, searing energy. And the figure steps out of the portal. Does anyone want to investigate a mystery to find out more about this entity?
I think we should.
Yeah.
I refuse.
Now, before we go, I didn't listen to the last beat of the last episode. What all did I tell you about this situation, or did I just say everything that you know? Did I leave anything out?
I don't recall.
Cool. Okay.
We all got swords. You left that part out.
Right. Yeah. Everybody has giant swords, but they're so heavy you can barely lift them.
I don't need to. Intimidation.
Here's the deal. I was hoping that I hadn't said any more than this because honestly, I had everything about this mystery planned out until about 5 minutes till 5. And I had this idea and I thought, good gods, that's even better. So I switched a bunch of stuff that I had planned. So I'm excited. Roll investigate a mystery.
8.
I rolled.
You also rolled?
I also rolled.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 12.
Okay. With your powers combined, we're going to let Bryn ask a question first, and then she gets 2, you get 3. As this encounter continues, feel free to get as much information as you want now and hold on to these questions to at any time during the encounter, we'll call it, because who knows how it's going to go, to ask, to pause us and use up these, we'll call it, they're called.
Rex deserves some truth, #truther.
Hey! What is this?
Bingo bango.
Does that mean we have more of that serum?
Yeah, it goes to Rex too. Rex gets it.
All right.
Thanks, Thing.
Thank you,
Thank you, Thing.
Thank you, Thing.
So the way that I want to do Truth Serum, we'll take a second before you guys start asking about this entity. The way that I want to do Truth Serum is I want you to be able to just use it at will. And so when you're in a situation where you would have liked to have used it, you can just stop us and retroactively describe how you had administered it so that during that conversation, it can come into effect. There will be very few instances in which you will not be able to do this. This is one of them because this entity just stepped out of a portal. But if you were to meet someone somewhere, be in public, or have any conceivable way to slip them Truth Serum. All right. So, Bryn, why don't you ask me a question?
What is it?
You don't know, actually. They are of average build and height, but they have no exposed flesh if they were human. Everything is covered by some kind of protective armor. It's matte black, reflects no light, and at the places where there would be joints, there seems to be like ruffles of like protective scarves and wraps, including their hands and feet. And their face is covered by a silver mask, the eyes of which are Void Eric's.
Oh, cool.
Why don't you ask me a question there, Rex?
All right. What can they do?
It looks like they can make portals on command. You haven't seen much else, but they did seem to have complete control over the doorway that just appeared. Quickly creating and dismissing it without seeming to need to do any kind of incantation. You know, no assembly required. It seemed kind of effortless, which is scary. Would either of you like to use any more of your questions? Bryn, you have 1. Rex, you have 2. Or would you like to just roll forward?
I'll ask one more.
Okay.
What is being concealed here? Other than the obvious, like, whatever is underneath all the ruffles. Is there anything else that's being concealed that I might know about?
1, Poirot seems to be gone, and you don't know where he went. 2, the obvious things are the only thing you can tell that is being concealed. However, it looks deliberate, and you have a feeling that something here is not right. That's not quite what I want to say. It's like this disguise seems very deliberate. You know, it's not just armor they're wearing. It is a disguise. So their identity is being deliberately concealed here.
What does their voice sound like? Like, is it sound human?
It just sounds like this, and it's kind of muffled by the mask.
Okay. That wasn't my question, by the way.
Besides the Tyne, have we come across any other sentient, like, speaking races? I feel like no. There's been some creatures you guys have encountered, but I feel like it's just been humans and robots and Tyne, right?
And Half Dad, whatever he is.
Oh, yeah. That's something else. Okay. So,
Spriggans?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I was
Spriggan.
lumping everything into Tyne, but yes.
Oh, vampires.
Vampires, werewolves,
Werewolves.
ghosts,
Gingerbread men.
gingerbread men. Okay, yeah, so there's been some shit.
Unicorns?
Yeah.
I believe there was.
Yep. Dragons. Yeah. Okay, so
This grew so quickly, it really ramped out of control.
Oh, yeah, that giant horse lady.
oh yeah, that creepy
Yeah.
Horse
I totally
lady.
forgot about that. Okay, so Rex and Bryn both take a moment to gather some information silently while Tag is talking to this entity who steps out of the portal and closes it behind them, and then says, you have the manual here with you.
Well, hang on. Did you just do that portal?
Yes.
That's a beautiful portal. I've never seen a portal so cleanly open and closed. And shoot, I don't know. Bryn, how long since we... Remember when we were on Edagon, we saw that portal? Oh my gosh. Now, that was a portal.
long.
Have you know what I'm talking about? And I look at the person. You seen the portals they do on Edagon? I mean, it's all flourish. It's all spinaz. It's all, glitter. But your portal...
No substance. No substance. You've got substance.
Thanks for the follow, Knight.
Thank you, Knight, for the follow. This is the mysterious entity speaking. Thank you, Knight, for the follow. As you're doing this, you can tell that this entity is not interested. Tag, roll a dex save.
7. No, that's impossible. Oh yeah, I'm not that nimble rogue character.
You're not a rogue anymore.
I was like, I'm so dexterous. No, I'm dweeby, but magical.
Okay, so
I'm flipping that.
This entity does not move their feet. They simply reach out rather quickly, and their hand disappears into a bright red hole in the air in front of them. And they do so with their other hand, and they are immediately, you feel from behind you, hands starting to frisk you. Because you rolled a 7.
Stop it. Oh, stop.
They do not immediately reveal that you do not have whatever they're looking for. The search will take them long enough to determine whether or not you're lying. But there are hands tickling you from behind.
He's okay.
Hey, unhand him.
What?
Hey.
The entity retrieves the hands and says, first of all, like many of the characters in this adventure you're on, hate puns. So I will ask you to minimize their usage here. Secondly, I will give you one more opportunity to hand over the manual, or I will use force to retrieve it from you.
Now, hang on. Look, I just wanted I told a little fib. I just wanted to meet the person who made a portal as beautiful like that. I don't have the manual, but I thought, now they can open a portal, but can they close it? And you can, sir or ma'am. You really can. I'm impressed. I hope you'll forgive my malfeasance.
You do not have the manual?
Well, which one?
No,
which
but
manual are you talking about?
We have a lot of different manuals.
Yeah, we have a couple.
I've actually got a manual guy, if you're looking.
Talk to me about your guys' intention here.
I will conjure up with magic a fake manual.
Okay, gotcha. They say, the OSI device user manual. Hand it over.
Oh, that! Reach into my robes. Oh, I'm not in robes. Oh, I'm in a tight suit.
Yes, you are.
I got nothing.
She has a little sleight of hand.
Yeah, I just reached behind me, and I used my magic to craft an illusion of a manual that has that title, and hope to God that it looks like it should.
Okay, yeah. Just roll plus magic. This is going to be a use magic roll. We're going to go with the glitches. I think the glitches will do us well here. I have them in front of me.
10.
Hey,
okay, so it just works.
It's also like 2nd edition, so it might be out of date.
I don't know what the bouncing things on the Twitch screen mean, but I think they're important.
Voodoo Lou.
Voodoo Lou gave us some bits. Woo!
Yeah.
Thank you, Voodoo Lou. This is the mysterious entity speaking. We appreciate the bits.
Well, this is just Connor speaking. I appreciate it. And I totally know what bits are.
You can tell by the center part of his hair. Okay, so tell me about this manual. With a 10, you create this thing. You will not be able to fill in any of the blanks that you don't know. It will not be an answer machine. So what would you like to provide? They've told you that it is the OSI device user manual. What would you like to create out of magic? You will do so successfully.
I'm going to create an old leather-bound book that's forest green, and it says on the cover in burgundy, whatever you just said.
The OSI device user manual.
Yeah. And then on the bottom it says second edition. And I think all I'm going to do is magic
It's a Dungeons and Dragons style script.
Of course.
Yep.
Look like a player
some
handbook.
cool artwork on the inside. And then like a page that's got what's it called? Not an
You don't have to give me like all of the specifics. You can just kind of give me the gist of how you're trying to sell it.
Pretty much it's going to have an interesting first page, and then everything else just says blah 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 blah. And hope that they don't open the book.
They actually walk forward instead of reaching through a portal and extend their hand to retrieve this manual.
Here you go.
They take it and they say, "What are you doing here? Why have you stolen this manual?"
Well, I didn't steal it. I found it at the bar. I was hoping to find the owner.
What bar?
What was it called?
The one that you guys actually went to before?
It's run by was it Zuzu?
Hashtag Cluso were being straight up punished. I guess we'll have to put away the magic puppy then. You know, the Labracadabra door.
Oh man, that's a clue from Merc.
A clue?
Merc is amazing.
Okay, this is actually
God.
great. I'm gonna hook Sam up. Sam, when we return to you, Jenny is going to deliver this clue that Merc just got. I think that is the scene where it will happen.
Okay.
So when that happens, that is because of Merc. Thank you, Merc.
Labracadabra door. Mwah.
They take the book and they say, there seems to just be a lot of confusion that's overcome them. And so they say, "I don't understand." "Then what are you doing here at Fiddich's apartment?"
Fiddich is my boyfriend.
And
Okay.
we're her friends.
Okay.
P4
He asked me
podcast.
to
Thank you
retrieve
for the
something.
raid.
We got raided?
P4
Raid.
podcast.
Oh,
man.
P4 podcast.
Yeehaw! Is that what you yell during a raid? Yeehaw!
Yes.
You yell yeehaw. Yeah, that is Twitch code.
Welcome to the raid, y'all. We got a encounter happening right now between our adventurers here on the screen, couple magic users, and they're all magic users today, and a mysterious entity who's just walked through a portal and asked for a book that one of these magic users produced with magic as a lie. So the entity says, "Very well. I have a feeling I'll give you a chance. Just roll charisma and see if you can lie to this guy. I'm not just going to disbelieve you. I'll give you a chance."
These guys are stonewalling every offer we put out there. Jeez Louise.
Me?
Yeah, I'm a -1 on
No, the
charisma.
people.
That's an 8.
An 8?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And who are your companions, they say?
Oh, these were some friends I made at the bar where I found the book.
Nice to meet
And they're the
you.
only ones who know that you had the manual?
Well, yes, I think so.
Excellent. I'll have to disclose
Unless
to
you're
these
gonna
witnesses
kill
then.
us.
And
Yeah,
he,
unless that means we're about to be murdered.
Yeah,
They
in which
put the
case
book-
I definitely had loose lips at the bar.
they put the book in, they reach it behind and put it into their cloak and extend both arms, creating 2 red portals. And they say, "Don't worry, I have nothing against you, so I will make this fast and painless." Red light begins to pour out of the portals as we cut to Sam, who's sitting in his office contemplating what he's just found, unsure of how to move a body whose bones have been liquefied, when a soft knock happens at his door.
Who is it?
"It's me, boss." How do I do this voice?
I think it was a French accent. It sounded like a squat French guy.
That's a different guy. "It's me, boss. I got something for you."
Come on in.
Jenny enters. I gotta skip forward in my notes. We're doing this in a weird order. Yeah, Jenny enters. She's holding a folded pamphlet of some kind, and she says, I found this while I was cleaning up out there. It was under the filing cabinet. It must have fallen out of the pocket of whoever it was that clubbed me on the back of the head.
All right. I examine the whatever it is.
It's an old program from the Beacon Opera House.
Oh.
When you unfold the program, you see that your address for this office has actually been scribbled into one of the margins, along with a warning that just says, Secretary has itchy trigger finger.
Well, they know us.
Yes.
I look over the document to see if there's anything else on it that would be notable in terms of...
It's pretty tattered and worn in.
Yeah, I mean, the opera house is abandoned, right? It's like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this would have been a show that went up probably several years in the past.
What was the name of the show?
It was Betwixt Two Supernovas. Starring the diva Cromlack 42, who was the only opera singing robot on the Void World.
Nice. She had there's such a great hit single from that song, from that show.
Oh yeah, My Heart Burns Like the Sun.
Yeah, Burns Like the Sun. Yeah, my love burns like the sun.
What was the tune though?
You seem to remember it pretty well, Casey. If you wanted to just hit us with it while I make a few notes.
I don't have my tuning kazoo. I would hate to do it a disservice. But what I will do is I'll meet you halfway by telling Jenny to check our records for anybody, like any handwriting samples we have, see if we can find a sample. I'll take a picture of the handwriting for my records, and then have her just kind of go through any of the records we have to see if it matches up with anything. It's kind of a laborious task, but something to do. In the meantime, I'm going to head over to the Opera House and investigate there.
Okay, do me a favor. I didn't expect this, so I want to see if we could just drum something out of it. Just roll plus lore, and you'll get a +1 because it will actually be for Jenny, and this roll will determine how much she can find out about this thing.
10.
Okay, cool. You actually do have... Who the fuck would it be? All right. Okay. Yeah, you actually do have something in your files. This is from someone that you were paid to investigate an affair. They thought that perhaps their partner was having an affair, and they hired you, and they paid you a lot up front. It was somebody who used to work for the company, and their name was Jork Ferdling. She actually matches the writing to a signed check.
I'll never forget that name, Jork Ferdling, nor the way they wrote. It's the way they made their J. It looked like they were just making up the letter.
Okay. All right. You're going to head to the Opera House? Or do you want to see if you can run down the lead on Jork Ferdling?
I think I'm going to run down the lead on Jork Ferdling.
Okay. Their last known whereabouts were in an apartment complex that would be... I think it would be just a little bit west of where you are. Just a couple blocks down and on the opposite side of the street. Maybe like a 10-minute walk.
Yeah, I can never forget a name like that, Jork Ferdling, nor where they lived, nor what he looked like. Had the largest forehead of any man I ever met.
So Sam takes off and starts heading down the street, and we cut back to the courtyard outside the Quiet Arms, where this entity has just opened 2 red portals. A large amount of red energy, magical energy, pours out of the portals into this entity's hands, and they start to absorb it, and their size actually expands just a little bit, and the portals snap closed, and they're now glowing red. Not on fire, but there is just this crackling red energy that's come over them. We're going to drop into an initiative and start with Rex. What would you like to do?
I think my first instinct is going to be to reach for my shield because I got really used to using that, and it's not there anymore.
No longer exists.
It no longer exists. And so I think there's a moment of like, oh yeah, and pulling out, Graflex, my big exquisite mace, and just it seems like it's about to get bad, but they haven't actually tried to attack us yet. So at this point, I'm just menacing them with it.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like it is about to get bad.
Well, maybe, I'm very intimidating, especially with this big giant mace. So maybe once they check me out and see like, oh, this lady's for real, she means business, they'll be like, oh, no, we didn't mean it, it's fine. All right, have a nice day.
Yes, I think that there is a role we could do to turn this into an action for you and see if you can, in fact, turn them into Jim Gaffigan. Roll, I'm going to say probably plus strength just to see if you can intimidate them. It'll have a consequence.
Yeah, you have all that really cool portal energy, but this weapon is very vicious, and I'm very good at using it. 11 good at using it.
Ooh, damn.
They were taking a step towards you, and they stop. And they do hesitate for a moment as they eye the weapon and can... It seems like they're analyzing it in some way, that perhaps they're picking up on the brand new enchantment that was just placed on it by Tara. And they do pause for a moment, creating an opening. Bryn, if you'd like to capitalize on that, I will give you a +1 to whatever you decide to do, as they are caught debating whether or not they actually want to have this fight.
I want to make a hedge barrier.
Okay. Tell me just a little bit more about what you want it to do.
So I want a hedge to go directly in front of us, and then it fades into a hedge maze that they get stuck in with lots of dead ends.
Okay.
And maybe a sphinx. And the goblet of fire is at the end of it. And when they touch the goblet of fire, it's actually a port key. And they're zoomed to a graveyard where Lord Voldemort is waiting for them. Lord Voldemort and Wormtail. And they're doing a ritual to restore his power. And they needed the blood. The blood of Harry Potter.
And they put it in Trin's chalice.
Because he's a youth.
Oh, it's Harry Potter's blood chalice.
Roll use magic.
I want to be Newt's commander.
Lisa?
That's a fail.
No!
Big fail.
Let's also
+1?
let's
I
also
have a
think about
+1?
this for a
Oh,
moment.
you did give me a +1. I have a 7.
But let's also think about this for a moment, because this is part of the same encounter in which you found Poirot, and every time you've used magic, you are stacking a -1 until the conclusion of it. So I believe you've only done it
ago, you fucking Grinch.
I believe you've only done it one time to create the slide, but that will be a -1. The next time you use magic, until your little refresh, it'll be a -2.
So that's a 6 then.
Oh yeah, something happens.
Shit.
He's got
Talking
they got
mushroom.
stuff. I forgot that they got stuff. Failed
So
magic.
what marks the end of an encounter? Combat doesn't make it a separate encounter?
The way that I see it is it's just kind of like, and this could be debatable. So if you guys wanted to say like, hey, I actually disagree here, I would hear you out. I feel
I
like
disagree.
Why is that?
Principle.
Okay. It would be like a sequence, like a single sequence. So it wouldn't be an entire episode. It wouldn't be an entire arc. But I think seeing Poirot falling out of the balcony and immediately entering into a chase and then coming upon this ties it all together for me. Let's say you guys don't get massacred here and you walk away from this and you have like 45 seconds to catch your breath in which you say like, okay, whew, glad that's over. Then we'll refresh kind of thing.
It's fine.
But
And consequences were my idea, so I'll live with it. Let's do it.
Cool. So with a magic fail, you see the spell go off. There's just an explosion of bloom energy off the front of your palm. But before it can reach out and touch any of the hedges that are nearby, for there are many, all of the energy coalesces into a single beam, which goes into one of the Void Erixes on this character's mask, and then blasts right back at you, Bryn.
Great.
And you find yourself the target of some hedges that are lurching towards you. They're coming from all sides of the courtyard, and they're cascading kind of like waves. They do not look animated in the sense that they are creature-like, but they look like waves which are rushing towards the summoner. Everybody roll a dex save.
All I can think is this is really embarrassing. I really do know how to do magic. 9.
8.
Cool. Okay. Rex, one of these hedge waves crashes over you and knocks you to the ground, and Graflex goes flying out of your hand.
No.
You would take a negligible amount of damage, probably just 1 harm, but I think your armor is going to be just fine against that. Which brings us to Tag. You've managed to sidestep these hedges as they fly past you towards Bryn. And it seemed like this happened all on its own. Every time this entity's done anything, they've been very confident and used very little energy. And so this spell just seemed to have been absorbed by this thing and shot right back out. There was no crazy thing that happened.
Okay. I'd like to start by tuning into it's just one entity?
Yes. As far as you can see, yes.
Roll tune in. That is a 11.
All right. Will you tell us what happens on a full success?
Sure. Tune in. You can attune your mind to a monster, in this case, creature or minion. On a 10 plus, hold 3 questions, and you can realign your target's thoughts.
Wow.
Let's ask the question, what is it capable of?
It seems...
specifically thinking about that Void Erix in the eye.
Sure. Oh, specifically about that?
Portal, too. I'll spend 2 to focus on portal energy and Void Erix rebound stuff.
Cool. You sling your psychic connection at this as they are in the midst of deflecting this. And you can see that they are processing what is going on and very quickly reacting to it. The mask is a magical item, a rather powerful one. The Erixes that have been embedded into it are able to capture wild magic and redirect it back at its source. You would sense that wild magic in this sense mechanically means a failed magic roll. It does not seem to be able to absorb it. It merely looks like a reflective thing that it can do. The portals can be opened, it seems like, without restriction. The sense that you get from this is that the portals seem to have no restriction to them. They can be opened in places that are out of line of sight, which is typically like a requirement of spellcasting. They can, as far as you can tell, create a doorway from one place to any other place.
And do I get a sense of the origin of their magic? For example, when they pulled that red energy, do I know where that came from? Or what it's doing to them?
It was just, it seemed like ammo. They were opening a rift to a place that had a lot of powerful hot magic and bringing it here to use as a charge up. You can tell by tuning in that they, bumped up their like strength, magic, and armor by pulling this out.
Okay.
And you'd like to realign their...
Yeah. I want them to become greedy for that power, and just keep those portals going, and just like keep juicing themselves up more and more and more and more and more.
Okay. Yeah. So they open 2 more portals. They don't seem to be resisting this at all because there's such a high roll, and they open them to this red place and start absorbing the energy. As the hedge waves are crashing past them, they begin to catch on fire as this entity grows, and they are growing larger and larger, and their costume is actually starting to rip at the seams. They are enlarging, but their items are not. And the mask, the face is kind of outgrowing the mask. Okay. We're going to give one more beat to this, which is that you are now, Rex, you are sprawled out on the ground with your weapon flying away from you. Bryn, you are looking at a wall of now flaming hedges crashing down on you.
They're on fire?
Tag, they are on fire now because of these open portals. Tag, you watch as this entity obeys your command and is just absorbing more and more and more energy. You, being tuned in, do get the sense that they are aware that they are very lucky that this will not be a problem for them. But the way that thought comes out is it could have so easily been a problem for somebody else to try what's about to happen. Like, bring on the juice is what they're saying. We cut back to Sam, who is now headed towards the apartment complex of Jork Ferdling. And the apartment complex is called the Hazy Cup. This is not a fancy place like Fittich. I guess it would be because I said he was rich. This is a fancy place like Fittich lived in. It looks like a company. They call them company dormitories, but that is the unofficial term. It is a place where many people who work for the company live. It is not provided by the company, but because the clientele is primarily company assets, they're called dormitories. And so there's a lot of shop talk that go on in the hallways or the common areas. There is a person waiting outside the door. They are a doorman, not necessarily security. How would you like to handle that, Sam?
I'm going to walk up to the door and stand expectantly that he'll just open the door for me.
Roll charisma.
I want that roll, but one of the dice is sideways, so I will just
Wow,
ahead.
that is an honorable man right there.
Okay, I don't want that roll, and that die was also sideways. I will now roll in a new location. Split the difference, 8.
Yeah, cool. So they go over to the door and they open it up for you, and they say, "Evening, Mr.
Hagen," and I just hand over, a little tip, like whatever, I have in hand in terms of cash, like, $2 or whatever.
Sure. They take it and they say, "You know which floor you're headed towards?"
Yeah, same every time, and I just head right in.
Okay. He pockets the money. You're inside the lobby. There's elevators at the back of the room. There's a front desk. Nobody's manning it. From your previous dealings with Jork Ferdling and the return address on the envelopes that you checked, that they live on the 2nd floor in apartment number 204.
I'll head to the elevator.
Okay. You get up there, no problem. The door is locked to the apartment. How would you like to handle that? There's nobody in the hallway. It's a nice place. It's a little bit too clean for your taste. Not clean as in tidiness, but clean as in sterile. There's just like no art on the walls. All the paint's a little bit too white. All the lights are a little bit too bright. The carpet is it looks nice, but is very thin. It just ain't that great. But there is a quiet hallway and nobody around.
All right, I'll knock on the door.
There is no answer.
All right. Is it an electronic lock or a manual lock?
Most of the doors here are electronic.
All right, I'm going to try to use my hacking skills to hack the door.
Cool.
Does it have like a key card entry? I'll use sort of a a la Terminator 2, an Edward Furlong, slide the card in, have it routed to my little hand, little wrist computer, and just try to see if I can hack me a door.
For sure. Do you got any bonusy stuff for hacks? You got some hack stuff, right?
Yeah, I have like a hack skill.
Okay.
Hackly. My hackles is up. Okay. Well, it's not going to matter like what my bonus is, because that's an experience point right there for sure. That's a huge bit of experience.
Okay. So I think that what happens is you just short circuit the electronic lock, and you realize that you will not be able to use it to get into the room.
Oh.
It is not the only thing on this door. There is a doorknob. You could get in however you want, but the electronic lock has just short circuited. Your device is still okay, but something just like surged and cut that power out.
All right. Well, let's see if that helped. I'll try to pick the lock with like a credit card now and see.
Okay. Sure.
Just jimmy it open.
I think just roll Dex for a thief skill here.
8.
Yeah. You can tell that some security measure, instead of going into like lockdown mode, just disengaged. The door was still locked, but with the electronics broken, you are able to jimmy the door open with a credit card. But the credit card breaks. So I hope it wasn't your only one. And then you get inside.
Was it the company one?
I'm not going to use the black card, the infinite black card. That's crazy talk.
That shit wouldn't break either. It's made out of something you don't understand, but it's real strong.
When you use a library card,
it actually hits something on the way in.
It's a fucking body, probably.
It's not. It's not that heavy. It's light. It actually seems like whatever it hit kind of spills, or moves out of the way. But it's not even resistance as much as you are aware the door hits something as it opens.
All right, I'll peer in and see if I can identify what it is before I go into the room.
It's a large stack of mail. It's as though somebody has been sliding it through the slot on the door and nobody's been picking it up. And there is just mail that dates back, not months, but several weeks as you start to thumb through it. And it's all for Jork Ferdling. They have not moved, so you are in the right spot. But all of the lights are off in here, and you can see that they have not been collecting their mail for at least a couple weeks.
I've flipped through the mail rapidly to see if it's, if it's all just bills, if there's any personal correspondence in there, if there's anything that would stand out as like a handwritten letter as opposed to purely documentation or anything from the company or anything like that.
So there is a lot of junk mail, a lot of bills, a lot of coupons, and what looks like some pay stubs. There would be direct deposit, so this person's not missing out on the pay, but there would be pay stubs. And then towards the bottom of the stack, there's actually a very different kind of looking letter. It's in a square, like wax paper that's been taped over it. There is no postage, no address. It looks like this was something that maybe somebody slipped in through the door who wasn't the post person.
Yeah. Let's take a look at that.
Sure. When you open it up, there is just this. Fuck, what is it? What is the symbol of the rebellion?
It's underwear.
I know that it's an underwear badge, but what did we decide was on the badge? Did we decide?
No.
I think
always
it's
think of
it's
the Star
two.
Wars.
Oh, sorry, Casey. Go for
No,
it.
please, Connor. I always think of pine trees for some reason.
Huh.
I'm only gonna nix that because the Pine Guard from Adventure Zone Amnesty already nailed it down, and I'm ripping off a lot of shit from them already. So that's the only reason I'm nixing pine trees.
How about pine cones? No. Connor, go ahead.
Did you have something?
Yeah, I was thinking it would be like a mischievous little kid holding up a donut, and then two mallards are kissing in the donut hole from both sides of the donut.
Okay. We're gonna have that actually be the thing. So on this piece of paper, it looks like it's been cut with like a butcher block cutting halfway through. You can see that it is old sides and like parts of a score from the play betwixt two, the opera betwixt two supernovas, and it's just some random pages from inside, and all there is on it is somebody used a stamp and not very well to create a mischievous little boy holding up a donut with two mallards kissing in the middle, and underneath there's a couple different times and locations that seem to be in code.
It's a really complicated stamp, though, so it's mostly just like a smear of ink on the paper.
But when you know, you know.
All right.
Yeah, you've seen it enough times that you know.
All right. I'll also check one of the pay stubs and figure out where this guy works real quick.
It's going to be R&D. You know that in the company there are many, many, many branches of R&D. This would just be, they're very difficult to peg down. The company makes that it does it on purpose, and so it would be like the like phone book code that you would know having worked on Void for so long for research and development, followed by a number that would just be the tracking for whatever their team is. So this would be like number 802, and so there's at least 801 other research and development teams.
When was the last pay stub from? Like how long previous to this time?
They've actually been consistent. So you get the impression that maybe this person's on salary, and so it's just been every single week a check's come through.
Okay, so there's no break in the payments, even like near the top. Okay, I'm gonna search the rest of the apartment. He's see if clothes are packed or anything like that. If this was a planned vacation.
Roll investigate a mystery, and I'm gonna let you get a pass through the apartment. There ain't much, but there's some stuff you could learn here.
God, wow. I'm so just on fire right now. 7.
Okay. You still get 2 questions. I'll answer your closed question first. It looks like there are a couple hangers on the floor as though somebody might have ripped their shirts out. The bed is unmade, and you do find a place at the bottom of their closet where there would be a luggage set, a designer luggage set. The largest bag and the smallest bag are there. The middle one is missing.
Okay. I'm also the first person here. So let's see. Let's piece this together. They gave some info away. They work for the company. They turned to the rebels. They skipped town because the heat was coming around. Oh, what else can I search out in this apartment? I'll just do another. I'll use my other question to do a sweep. Is there anything else in the apartment that I noticed that stands out as atypical?
Yes, you actually do find a secret compartment as you're going through the desk. It's almost on accident. You put your hand down on the top of the desk to brace yourself while you open a drawer, and you activate a pressure plate, which pops open a compartment underneath, and there is a modified Void Blaster. This would be something that somebody would have bought not through the company, and it's a Void shotgun for the most part. So you can take that. It's going to have We don't need to track ammo because that's boring. It'll do 3 void damage, 3 magic damage.
All right. I'm not taking it. I'm borrowing it.
Sure.
There's a really big difference. Should this guy ever try to step forward and take credit for giving information that would have had me killed, we can discuss the return of his property. Mr.
Jork Ferdling. In Jork Ferdling's secret compartment, you do just find the gun, but it looks like there is a couple pieces of like metal money, like change, and enough room for what you could assume would be other items that may have been cleared out. Then they might have just decided to leave the gun because it's conspicuous. But there's enough room to hide other shit in here.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely don't want to be walking outside with the shotgun, so I'm going to grab one of the other pieces of luggage and put the shotgun in there.
It fits perfectly into the smallest designer bag. So you scoop that up, stow the gun, and exit the apartment, closing the door behind you. As that door clicks closed, returning the room to darkness, we cut to Rex, who's laying on the ground. Before we get to you, Bryn, please roll a dex save. We're upping it because even though you passed it once before, you got a partial and now everything's on fire. 5?
Yeah. Or I've already
Okay.
leveled up. Probably twice.
You guys need to be thinking of cool stuff to give yourselves because I'm going to kick the shit out of you, so give yourself some cool stuff.
Fine.
Rex, you can see Bryn's feet get swept off the ground as she is hit in the chest with the front of one of these flaming hedge waves and pushed back into the courtyard. What would you like to do?
I would like to. I forget for a second that she's magical, and so I rip off my shirt and just try and put the flames out.
Okay. I think that this is just going to involve you getting to her. It's going to be a bit of a minefield now with all of these hedges flying around. They all seem... Nah, that's fucked up, so I won't do that. Never mind. Yeah, but they're just still, they've just washed out, but now there are just these hedges that are on fire everywhere. So just roll plus dex to get to her.
Seven.
Okay. You do get to her and throw your coat or your shirt over her to start to put her out. You are able to get the fire out, and before you can celebrate, you will actually take a blow to the side of the head. And as you fall over, taking 3 harm, physical, you slide across the brick of this courtyard and see a very large hand that is now ripping through its gloves, and the fingers and knuckles all seem to be made out of metal, pull itself back into a portal, and the portal closes.
Rude!
Bryn.
Yeah. So wait. So who's still here? We still.
Rex just got slugged. Tag is kind of doing a magic showdown with the entity that just reached into a portal and punched Rex in the head from across the courtyard and brought it back. They are very large now. They have not closed the portals, and energy just continues to siphon onto them, and they are just growing. They just seem to be getting, they're not turning into the Iron Giant, but they're just getting denser and denser and denser and just continuing to absorb energy.
Did you
But
say
their mask is still on?
The mask is still on, yes.
Underneath their gloves is metal?
Yes. You can see that their whole costume is coming apart. It seems to be resistant to whatever the magic is that they use, so it's not burning, but it is, as they are growing, it is ripping, and you can see that underneath it does appear to be metal.
Okay.
Ooh. Should I make a giant magnet?
That's up to you, man.
Do it!
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna make a giant magnet. I'm gonna stand up, brush myself off. I'm hella embarrassed. I'm like, this is not my first rodeo. I'm just a little rusty.
Okay.
And then I'm going to summon a very large magnet over to the side, hoping it will make it stick to it.
Okay, cool. You are going to roll, use magic. You are now stacked with a -2. Now remember, that is just subtracting from your bonus. It is not like...
Oh, okay. So I'm at a 0 then right now.
Yeah.
So no bonus for me.
Okay.
Huh. Thanks for pressuring me to use magic. It's gone bad every single time.
I'm not rolling your dice.
8.
8? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. The magnet does work, but not exactly as you want. Tell me what the glitch is. Do you need them?
Yes, please.
You can either have the effect be weakened, of a short duration, you can take damage, it'll draw immediate and unwelcome attention, or it will have a problematic side effect.
It's gonna draw immediate and unwelcome attention.
Okay.
Isn't there a glitch that it immediately kills the target?
That'd be amazing.
I will put that in there. If it becomes a coin flip, and so it will either kill the target or the attacker. And you have to flip a coin to see.
Right.
what.
Well, okay. I don't think you need to waste your
Okay,
sweet
just
little
saying.
finger energy typing that one out.
So it draws immediate and unwelcome attention.
Is it the lady that lives in the apartment upstairs?
Yeah. Yeah, she starts screaming. You create this large magnet. The problem is when it starts, all metal starts to be pulled towards it. You cast it in front of you, pointed towards the enemy. So everyone behind you is cool except for Tag. So Tag, just start figuring out what metal items you have. But everything in front of you, this magnet is big. And so it starts pulling, like the street lamps start pulling up out of the cement. They don't get pulled free, but you can see that the bolts are ripping out of the concrete. The benches and everything starts sliding towards. It's not a tornado tug, but everything starts moving towards. The entity actually braces itself and manages to withstand the pull, but the mask does get ripped off of its face and connect with the magnet. And all of you see, growing larger by the second, a red, glowing, rather corrupt-looking CNAC 88.
What? No, CNAC.
Corrupted? Oh.
And as the his costume shreds more from his growth, you can see that installed in his torso, you've seen him many times, installed in his torso is a device that looks like one of those old tape players. It's about that size and shape, and it seems to be running overtime. It is plugged directly into his circuitry, and whatever you see on CNAC 88, this, you can make the leap, would be causing it.
No, CNAC!
Meaning the tape it's some sort of influence being exerted upon him via that tape in his chest?
Think that it just kind of looks like the what have you of the tape machine. It's not actually playing a tape. It's just kind of like a box that size with spinning dials. But yes,
Right.
that thing seems to be... Because you just saw CNAC. You saw him right before you left for the Void Planet. He seemed pretty chill.
Right.
Right.
You can make the leap from past experience that this thing that's in his chest may have something to do with his actions right now.
Okay.
Where was he last?
He met you guys outside of the Blight Planet as a bit of a espionage person for the Professor and the Rebellion. They were stealing technology from a Void Relay, and then he said that he would be, dipping out to go do more cool rebel shit.
Okay.
So he left a little bit before you guys did. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I'm gonna pull that mask, that sweet, sweet mask off the magnet.
We're gonna deal with the magnet in a second. As of right now, Tag, what kind of metal stuff do you have?
I got the two little Die Hard with the Vengeance hooks.
Okay. They flip out of your...
Is there someone in chat who A, has seen Die Hard with a Vengeance, and B, knows the name of those things so I can have a better, it can roll off the tongue a little slicker in the future?
Once we get that, please chat, fill in our blank here, Mad Lib us here. They will just be referred to as the Die Hard with the Vengeance hooks. They flip up out of your belt and hit the magnet.
Where am I in relation to the magnet and in relation to the creature?
I see you.
Slicey boys is a suggestion I see from chat, so I think that's what we should
We'll
go
call
with.
them Slicey boys. Yeah, that kind of fits with what we're rocking.
Yeah. Joseph Dunlap has seen the movie but doesn't remember what we're talking about. It's Jeremy Irons' right-hand lady. She, she comes onto the boat at the end or whatever it is, and she's all slick, and she comes up. She does a little slicey dicey sequence in the hall. Kind of, anyway.
Karambit
Okay, cool. Thanks, Mark.
says.
Karambit, I think we all know we'll continue to call them Slicey boys.
Slicey boys.
Hey, well, I appreciate it nonetheless, Merc. Everybody, really.
So I see
the
this-
reason I'm asking the question is, if Sinak is between the magnet and me, if there's a way for me to kind of, as I see them start to jiggle on my, I think they're kind of here. They're like old-timey sort of shoulder harness detective style. As they start to pull and jiggle away from me from the magnet, if I could hold on them long enough to kind of slingshot them at Sinak on their way to the magnet.
The way that I've been thinking of this is the magnet is behind you. It's actually the reverse. You are between. So the mask would have flown right past your face, and I think that it goes creature, you, magnet, Bryn, Rex. So it's just like this domino of you and the creature are the only two in front of the magnet.
Okay, cool. Well, never
Sorry,
mind.
I don't mean
That's
to rob you of a cool thing.
No, it's okay.
But if the magnet was on the other side of the creature, I think all of Rex's and Bryn's shit would be sucked towards it as well. Your little slicey boys, I'll
So
give you
they're
a
gone.
chance to save them.
If you're giving me a save in this moment, I'd prefer to spend the energy reaching out to grab the mask and letting my daggers go versus trying to hold on to the daggers.
Sure. Yeah, you spin around. The magnet is right behind you, and you are able to get a hand on the mask. Just roll. I'll give you a chance. If you just want to rip it off, you're going to roll strength. If you want to try and do some magical judo here to free it, I will give you the chance to use magic instead. That'll be on you.
I think with how frenetic things are happening, his instinct is still going to be physical as it's whipping by him to grab it and not to magic pull it to himself. Unfortunately.
Oh, you want to snatch it out of the air before it hits the magnet.
Whatever works. I'm not trying to
Yeah, that's
retcon
cool.
what has already happened.
If you prefer. Yeah, you guys would have just seen, like we freeze frame Borderlands style as like the mask pulls off the face and we like CNAC 88 corrupted by Osai, and then you would whip
Corrupted by Osai.
That's
Now-
new information.
You guys are like
Interesting.
He's
Thank
looking
you,
for the
Borderlands.
manual. He's got it on his chest. You're 2 steps away. I'll give you this one, okay?
Dex.
Dex.
That sounded like okay. Well, 7.
Yeah. So you actually reach out to grab it, and you do get a hand on it, but it flips it around so it smacks you in the face, and you are now wearing the mask, and you are pulled backwards to get stuck on the magnet. But you are now wearing this mask. I didn't have it in mind that you guys would use it. It is a magical deflector, and so you will be able to incorporate that into whatever you'd like should a magical attack come after you.
Okay.
Okay. Would you like to do anything else?
I got an idea, but let's pass the torch a little. I got the mask, and then I'll save this one and load it in the chamber for when it comes back around.
Rex, you've just been punched through a portal.
Oh shit!
So rude.
I didn't realize I actually went through the portal.
No. Sorry. The punch came through the portal.
Oh, okay. Right. That makes more sense. Since we never established where Graflex went, what if it's behind CNAC 88?
Yeah, sure. You could have been hit from behind in the same way that he snuck up on Tag. It is currently wiggling because it would have been flung past him. It is wiggling on its way to, as it gets closer, be sucked up towards the magnet. I think you'll have a second to operate here before it hits him. The unwanted attention from earlier is coming from all of this shit that's going down. Like, the courtyard's on fire, and now metal items are being thrown around and banged into stuff. And so, yeah, so now there are people kind of accumulating on all of the balconies around you. You can hear some like sirens. You heard some chirpy sirens before from like corporate security. So that's what you got going on right now. But Graflex, you see.
Go back inside. Lock up your jewelry.
Some of them listen to you. Most people are just in awe of these flaming hedges swirling around and the park benches being lifted off. What do you want to do with Graflex?
It's a maelstrom. Potentially something extremely risky depending on my role. But my idea is that I, in ducking and diving from all these metal things that are flying around, I'm off center, so I'm not directly behind anybody anymore. But my goal is to summon Graflex and try and kneecap CNAC as Graflex tries to both resist the. So I'll stand near where the magnet is because I want to summon Graflex towards the magnet because that's where it wants to go anyway. But
sure.
I want to try and direct where it's going so that I can kneecap CNAC.
Cool. Summoning it's a free action. It's just part of you taking the time to create a cool magical item. Incorporating that into the attack is what's going to be the roll. And so we're going to have you roll plus strength just because it is a weapon attack. That being said, if you hit, you will deal your full amount of damage as well.
Nice. Mm-hmm. All right. Here goes something. Oh. Wait, I have a lot of bonuses. Okay, that's a 7.
Okay. You are able to hit. And so I think what happens is, yeah. So what you do is you hit as CNAC is now creating a portal. You see the hands go up in a gesture that you're familiar with. And how much damage does Graflex do?
I think only 3.
Okay. He only takes 1.
Oh.
As the portal starts to go, you can actually see now that the costume is gone, the machine in his chest stutters and a burst of light happens. It would have been covered by his armor before. And the portal starts to leap out of the fingertips. Graflex connects with the back of his legs, flipping him backwards, so that the portal miscasts and actually goes right underneath him. And he falls through his own portal and then loops a couple times because the second portal appears in the air and you just see him kind of like woof, 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 until one of these iterations he flings out some arms and lands on the ground. You catch Graflex, but it kind of bangs through some of the furniture on their way to the magnet, and so now the chairs are just spreading and hitting the hedges, which are now catching into fire. You can see that the apartment building has actually started to catch on fire as well. And CNAC gets to his feet, and those 2 portals that he'd opened earlier where the energy was coming through, he says, "I should have known better." And he pulls in one last gout of red energy from these portals, and they seal closed. And he just like Kamehamehas, just like cranks back the arms and just blasts this huge bolt of red. It looks like a red laser. It is condensed and it is just pouring out of him. And you can actually see his size, which has grown and he's gotten much denser, you can see him returning to a normal size as he just keeps fueling this gigantic blast. Rex, roll, if you would, a Dex saving throw.
I think that needs to be the thing, like, that I somehow bulk up on Dex. Like, that's gotta be my...
You can spend your level up points to just get bonus to that.
Are you going to do the Kamehameha for us, Jesse?
Kamehameha!
That was a 10, my friend.
Okay, you are very lucky. You see this coming as you grab Graflex flying past you, and you use the momentum to just pull yourself and flip out of the way. It's a bit dirty, but your armor protects you. You just kind of crash through an ash block that was once a burning hedge. And this laser goes right over all three of you and collides with the Quiet Arms apartment building, which it craters in at first, and you can see a bright wash of red ripple out as it goes through. You're in a courtyard that's surrounded by this apartment. As it starts to ripple through every floor and every room, and the whole place just starts to incinerate. And then there is a massive explosion, a huge cloud of dust, and we cut back to Sam. Sam, what's your action? You just left Jork Ferdling's apartment.
Yeah, I'm surprised. You know, even though he's left, that part of his forehead wasn't still there. You know,
on the door frame as he.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like he could be somewhere else and you could still find his forehead. Well, let's see. It seems like. I'm going to go back to my place and try to crack the code of the times and locations in the envelope.
Sure. You leave. The doorman opens the door for you and nods. As you step outside, before the doorman could even let go of the door, you hear a gigantic explosion. I guess it would be, if you're here, I think it would be, it's like 5 blocks northeast of you. It is just this gigantic explosion. And it is nighttime, so when you look in that direction, both you and the doorman stop in your tracks and look in that direction. You can see from over the apartment buildings this huge flare of red in the sky. And then the billowing, which is added to what would have already been just some smoke from the fire, but this huge, you know, like cloud of debris that's now floating into the sky.
Wow. Well, I know which direction I'm not going.
Or you know where your friends are.
I don't know you guys are there. If I knew you guys were there, I'd come in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, I say.
Oh, come on. You know how we like to get into trouble.
You know, this place is pretty dangerous. It could be anybody. You know. It could be raiders. It could be the mob. It could be the company. It's not... you know, I'm in enough trouble as it is. I got a melted dude in my office, so... Plus, what am I gonna do? Show up and like sass this guy? Sass you guys to life? I'll sass you out of trouble. No sweat. Yeah, I'm gonna head back to the office and try to crack this code.
Okay. Roll a, I think it's just like a lore check.
I don't know why I'm so bad at rolling dice. You know, there's only so much surface area that I'm aiming for, and I feel like I miss more often than I actually put it on the table. It's odd, you know. It's like, I don't know if you guys as kids ever like brushed your teeth and like dropped your toothbrush in like the trash can or something like that. You know,
As kids,
you're just
yeah.
like, yeah, it's like your kid, or you like spill your milk or something like that. You're like, God, I'm just trying to pick it up, but my hands just don't work. Apparently, I'm in my second phase of not being able to put dice on a big table. Let's try this again. Whoa, look at that, 12.
Okay, cool. You can tell that you are being followed.
Oh.
The tale is you've been followed recently by some of Morelli's goons, and so once you kind of get the feeling, that old feeling that you sometimes get when your street smarts kick in, you do find an opportunity to look behind you in an inconspicuous way, and the person that you see is not one of Morelli's goons. They are a bit scrawny. They're wearing like thick Coke bottle glasses, and they got a cowlick. They're wearing some high waters, plaid shirt, suspenders, bow tie.
Okay, they're either rebels or they're going to try to sell me tickets to their show.
They seem to be following you at a. They're doing a decent job. You're just good at what you do, so you caught on, but they're doing a decent job. So they're giving you space. They don't seem to be making any moves. They just seem to be keeping an eye on you.
All right, well, I can't go back to the office now. Let's go to bum 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 bum. Well, I need someplace, so I'm going to go to the Rose Cave Resort. I'm going to get a room there, and I can do some studying there without worrying about putting Jenny in danger.
Okay, cool. It's actually not far from where you are, so you just head a block down and a block over. The person following you gives you plenty of space, and once you're in your room and posted up near the window, you peek out the blinds and you can see that they are across the street having a drink at a bar with a window that looks at your place. And we cut back to the ruins of the Quiet Arms, where there is just the entire building that you would have just like balconied down is gone. It is a crater, and the two next to it are crumbling in like a half U towards where that blast was. The entire place is filled with this smoke and debris. Tag, you are laying, you've all kind of gotten knocked down. Everybody takes one